Sorry. Okay, I'm in my car. It is August 16th still, 2025. And I wanted to... Oh, this is really nice. Yeah, I'm looking at this on my phone. There was a storm going on here. But yeah, I think this is nice scenery. So this is why... Oh God, this town needs some repair. Well, anyways, that's okay. Look at that. You got people walking around. I like that. Okay, I think I speak into this. This is, I think, the speaker here. There's a couple reviews that I want to give. But before that, I guess I'll give, some quick news. I was thinking I'm going to put... Oops, why is it? Separate... Oh, I don't know if I like that. It's gonna... what do you call that? Keep blackening the screen, with the screensaver type thing, I guess. Well, I thought that I was going to make 2 videos to separate these reviews, but I thought I'll just put it together because, as they say, like to milk it, milk the, milk it, to having 2 videos. Dre told me to milk the shit for what it's worth till the cow just tilts and tips, right? Let me see. I was born to brew up storms and slur up spit, kick up guts, cuss and to slur up spit. Grew up too quick, went too much, when too much shit corrupt. Dre told me to milk the shit for what it's worth till the cow just tilts and tips and stumbles the earth. When if I fumble a verse, just keep going. First take, I make mistakes, just keep it. No punches pulled, no punches. That's weak shit, fake shit. And if I ever take shit, I eat shit. Wasn't for him, I wouldn't be shit. Weep with me as we take a little trip down memory lane. Been it longer than anyone in the game. All right. So you get it. That's what I mean by that. To milk it, milk the shit, right? But no, there's no need. I'm just gonna put it together. The 2 films are Ember Days, which is available on Amazon Prime. It is a very, very low budget film. It's in the realm of paganism, I guess, and about the old gods. This film, but in like a modern day city. And then the other one with a fantastic soundtrack by S.J. Tucker. I love her. And I also love probably equally S.G. Goodman. And I got into those because of my brother. But, see how it's raining here, and it's like a storm. It is a little thunderstorm. In fact, there was a warning on the TV, before I left here, again, running errands. Prior to it, earlier today when running errands at I'll say the doctor's office, and I'm waiting in the parking lot. It's nice and sunny, and even when I went to get the food, it's still nice and sunny. But then suddenly, look at this, it's all cloudy and a storm, and I was telling my brother, I said, now you see, this is why it sucks to be like homeless and living in destitute. Right, like poor Jerry Susperan from Small Wonder, who played Jamie Lawson, and my brother, because I was saying it's fine. It's not so bad being homeless. I'm just walking around, nice and sunny, but then suddenly out of nowhere, in a snap of a finger, there's this, and this sucks. So for that to happen would suck. But and then I brought up Jerry Susperan, the actor. Who was in Small Wonder. He's doing quite badly. Now, his co-star, Tiffany Brissett, who played Vicky the Robot, she's doing well. She is smart. She is, she's a nurse, so very good, Wow, amazing. And my brother said, oh, yes, he said, the prodigal son. And I said, I'm thinking, what? What are you talking? He's not smart. He's not like, Iron Man, he's not Tony Stark. And he said, that's not what that means. And this whole time, he said it means like wasteful, and I didn't know that. This whole time, I don't know what to say. And when I think I know something, I look up a lot of things, but, and I learn a lot of stuff. But this is one of those things. It happens. There are words that I'm just not so sure. And then I don't look anything up, because if it's something I'm sure, I just strongly believe I know it, then I don't look any further, really. But anyways, I thought, and I guess I was getting confused, or just thought it's the same thing, like precocious, like Ellie Fanning from I Am Sam. You ever see I Am Sam? I Am Sam! Hey, why is your dad acting like a retard? Because he is. Oh, are you? No. Well, how do you know? Because he told me. Yes, but he's a retard. Takes one to know one. That's I Am Sam. If you've ever seen that film, it stars Dakota Fanning, like I said, and Sean Penn. Very good film. Well, anyways, so that's the thing. I just thought that it was like precocious or super smart, like Tony Stark and all of that. And he said, no, yeah, it comes from the Bible. And he went through the whole explanation about like the two brothers, and one was this, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But now I know. Okay, that's why I was telling him too. I was getting confused when I hear it in movies. The prodigal son has returned. When you hear that line in movies, it's more than one. It's quite a few movies where they use that line. The prodigal son has returned. I'm like, oh man, yeah. Oh shit. I'm thinking, this guy's super, super smart, so he's going to set things straight, or now they're in trouble, that kind of thing. But as I'm watching it, I'm thinking he's not that smart, as I thought. He wasn't as smart as I thought, or what's going on. But I just, still would think that's what prodigal meant. But now I know better. So it's someone who's wasteful. And now I know better. Okay. And what else do I want to say? Okay, I better start moving around, because the other thing I want to bring up is September 28 until around November 10, 11, around there. I'll be in the Philippines. It's a little bit of, you can think of it as vacation, slash kind of like business or work-related type thing. And one of the things too there is I'm going to train to do a hilit massage. It is a Filipino massage thing. So I'll be getting certification for that over there. That's the thing. I have a lot of certifications and a lot of things like that. And, I went to DeVry, but these are kind of long time ago now. So this will be yet another thing I get, and just like I have, when I owned a restaurant, you had to get to be certified for, I forgot what it's called, but you have to be certified to have a restaurant. So it's kind of that long ago that I now forgot what certification that was. And then, I'm certified to be, pharmacy technician. Yeah, just trying out a bunch of different things. So that also contributes to why I'm having just a very hard time, finding something, like some real work, which mostly I do office. So I'm having a very hard time with that. But anyways, now that that's over with, my review for Ember Days, it is like that. Like I said, it's a film, a modern day film. And I think it came out around 2011, 2012, something like that. And S.J. Tucker had full control of the soundtrack, and she did a excellent job of the soundtrack. It has a bunch of actors and actresses I do not know. Very low budget. You can even some might even equate, I understand this, some people might even equate the acting, equate it to porn star acting. It's pretty bad, it can be bad like that. Not maybe throughout the whole thing, but it has that type of feel, that look and feel, you can say. It's one of those, is what I'm trying to get at. But honestly, it's still quite enjoyable, because I understand, I see it for the story it's trying to tell, and at the same time, I'm into, that kind of, with the gods and Greek gods and things like that, and Norse gods and sword and sorcery, fantasy type stuff. Lord of the Rings, Conan the Barbarian, Red Sonja, Deathstalker, Barbarian Queen. Yes, I know, even though it's like a bad film, things like that. I enjoy them. So this is like no different, and it's under that category of like super low budget film. There's like some shootouts, they have guns, and it's just, it's kind of funny at times. So it's an interesting thing, because when you watch it, they're going around familiar areas that, like under bridges and outside in, parking lots and things like that. And you're wondering where all the people were, and they never quite really explained it. But they kind of hint at that and insinuate about that somewhere near the middle end of the film. This is a movie I saw like maybe 2-3 months ago, mind you. Superman 2025, I've seen it twice, okay? But anyways, with this one, they hint at, for a moment, it's like she phased out of her pocket reality into the real world, and you start seeing some real people for like a brief, few seconds, and cars and stuff, the way the streets are normally. And then she phased back out of sync, out of that time frame, you know what I mean, and into this pocket time frame where it's just the gods, and the whole thing is like it's a conflict between how things should be run, let me say that, and one god trying to seize power. Was it, I can't remember, was it Hermes? Hermes was the one in charge? I think it was him, but I could be wrong. So the gods are split and divided. S.J. Tucker does have a little cameo role in there. And if you're still wondering about S.J. Tucker, and this is probably something you still won't even know, she sang the song D&D, or Playing D&D, which is a music video for the movie The Gamers, Darkness Rising. Very good film. But this film here, and if it was available on Blue, I have to double check that, I would purchase it. And if it goes on sale, I would like to also still get it digitally. But if there's a hard copy of it, I would like to get the Blu-ray, otherwise the DVD, just to help support. And not only that, but it's got to be very good price, like super, super cheap, And this is also one of those cases where the soundtrack by S.J. Tucker is actually so much better than the actual film. Let me put it that way, in terms of production rise and stuff like that. Okay, so this film, Ember Days, I would give it, honestly, I'm seeing it for what it's trying to do. I would give it like, so it's slightly different scale, keep in mind. I'd give it like a 6.25, let's say, 6.25 out of 10, okay? So now that's my review for that. Now for Superman 2025, and this one stars David Cornsweet as Superman. Now his parents, I only know the man, and he starred in films like Identity, Constantine, I don't know his name, but he has one of those eye disorders where it's always wiggly. His eyes are always kind of, when you look at him, look at those films and look at when he's younger, kind of a little bit of a fatter man, but not super, not really super fat, but he's a kind of a heavier set man, kind of like a little bit round. And so just watch those films, and you'll know what I'm talking about. In Constantine, he was like a right-hand man, sort of John Constantine, played by Keanu Reeves. I think, was he a priest? Something like that. Well, anyways, that is that actor, and you once you see him, you may recognize him from other films. He has that eye problem, whereas his eye's always wiggling, and it's always, but it operates just fine. But there are issues why that happens. But it's just more of like a visual thing than anything, I believe. But it stars him, and I'll get to them again later. But now, at the beginning, I was worried about this film being super convoluted, because from the trailers and the clips, it just seemed like they're trying to squeeze in too many things into one, okay? Like all these superheroes and like multitude of villains, Lex Luthor, and a lot of crazy things going on. The giant monster that Superman was kind of fighting in the city, right? Honestly, when you see it, when it's small, it kind of looked like Stitch, Lilo and Stitch, right? Kind of like that, and it was kind of dark. But then it gets bigger, okay? So I just thought that it would be just all over the place. But, watching it, and especially watching it a second time, it wasn't really all over the place. For everything that it had, I'm very pleased to say that it fell into place fine. But here's the thing for me, where it kind of falls short for me, what I didn't like so much. I just didn't like this portrayal of Superman, for one. The other thing is, and you'll really notice it second time watching it, is it's too much comedy injected into it, I felt. I understand it is James Gunn. He's known for that. And look at Guardians of the Galaxy, Super, things like that, the Suicide Squad, all of that. For some reason, it works for that. But for a Superman film, I felt that that approach didn't quite work so well for a Superman film. It just, if you watch it second time, now for some folks maybe they're okay with that and they like it, maybe second time they like it even more. For me, it just really, I've noticed it already the first time, but second time, it just really, really becomes apparent, and you need to see it maybe second or third time, and you'll just see it almost every scene, every shot. There's some sort of, like I'm saying almost there's always some sort of like comedic line or comedic innuendo. Like this is not a sitcom, or something comedy injected, and it's a bit too much. But then there would be like a serious moment, and it just kind of makes the tone a little bit confusing. It like meshes not so well, I would say, because it's thrown in like seemingly out of nowhere. You don't expect it. And even in some cases, it's just a weird placement. One example is when Superman's Fortress of Solitude was invaded, by Lex and his crew. And one of his robots, his Superman robots, number 4, was seemingly destroyed. Like he's crying, but it's just a robot, but it's kind of early on. So it's like, it's hard to have any feelings for that because we're still new to everything, and we didn't have time with these characters, to build up, and it's just a robot is the other thing. But then much later on in the film, I'll say he's just all fixed up and there's nothing to worry. So it's like things like they have some moments like that where when they try to inject emotion, I felt it was a little weird placement to put it. So that's the thing. And I'll say with Superman's parents, they have a hillbilly, like they're like the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, nothing wrong with hillbillies so long as it's not like a Wrong Turn kind of hillbillies or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that kind of thing. But it's like Beverly Hillbillies, Jed and Jethro and what's her name, Luann? I can't remember the female hillbilly in Beverly Hillbillies, the hot one. But anyways, it's just like a weird thing. Clark might want to come inside the house. There's something on the box. You might want to say, I did not like that. But something on the box? I understand that's a TV, but it's just, I'm used to just Martha Kent not sounding like that and just, I don't know. And I'm really sorry, And then there's Annette O'Toole who played Martha Kent in Smallville, and Jonathan something, the Dukes of Hazzard guy as the people like that, and the original parents. They seemed very fine to me, I just, I didn't like that. I just shouldn't have made them have that accent. It just kind of made it seem like a weird thing, like giving too much background for him. First he's an alien, then he's like a hillbilly background, and then the way he talks, he doesn't talk like that. Then second of all, he doesn't talk like that type of accent at all, which is quite weird. And you see in some flashbacks or video that he was raised since baby like that, so it's just kind of weird to me. If you watch it again, you can see all of this, and it's just so many comedic moments, too many of them. The garage door from Mr. Terrific for a spaceship going up slowly, everything, the flying of the ship, and just everything. Even when he, in that pocket dimension of the prison thing that Superman was placed in, just everything had, every moment they had to inject some kind of comedic thing. Again, I understand it is James Gunn, it is his style, but I'm saying I felt like it did not work for this. I didn't, and just the way, Superman, he uses, Clark, I understand he uses words like golly and geez and, stuff like that, but oh, golly Lois, when he's the Christopher Reeve one, he, to me, is the way I feel and always thought, but maybe it has something to do with, me being a Christopher Reeve Superman fan, and also really like Cavell and Tim Brandon Roth, but I don't see Superman using those lines, talking like that. Well, golly, or, and if they say it's like supposed to be Silver Age, does he say dude? Like, dude, that's like modern day teenagers. They say that, dude, or bro, bro, dude. I don't like, he didn't say the bro word, but like, dude, he said it at least a couple times, and and it's kind of like a little off to me. Like, and his voice as Clark, they're saying like, oh, the voice change. Now he sounds completely different as Superman than it does Clark. No, he doesn't. In fact, in some of the parts too, especially when you see him as Clark and he's trying to defend Superman, he sounded more like a Superman as Clark than he did as a freaking Superman. Watch it again and you will see. So those are just some of my complaints. I still enjoyed the film, but I thought it could have been far greater if, they, made a bit of those changes. Like I said, it didn't have much of that. I really, really wanted to give this like super high score, like, 9, I can't remember if IGN gave it an 8 or a 9. I want to say they gave it a 9, but again, I think they're just, because this is going to be a big blockbuster hit, so they got scared and wanted to not get the fans mad. But they gave it a 9. You see, they made what? 6 to like 900 something. I can't remember now, like 6-7 billion, was it? I don't know. Dollars. All I know is it made a massive profit. But that's, of course, people went to see it. Don't look at those numbers. That's because like a whole bulk of people went to see it, or even when they came out of it, friends maybe saying it wasn't all that great, but they're still gonna, they're still gonna go see it because it's Superman and a reboot thing. That's one of those cases where don't get mistaken for the box office numbers, the amount of money they made, automatically meaning that the film is really that great. To me, those issues really got in the way for me. And I understand also they're trying to use the old theme, the classic theme, like the Christopher Reeve stuff, but it doesn't mesh well. And the Christopher Reeve films that started in like 70s, it's a product of its time. You even see they have typewriters, not computers. So it's a product of its time, So that type of dialogue, a lot of the dialogue that they got away with then won't really work now unless you're making it a period piece, and they're not doing that in this case. It's meant to be modern day. So because of that, and again, different scale from when I rated Ember Days. It just hit me now. I was thinking, should I just give it 6.75? I was thinking like 6.75. I'm going to change that and make it a bit higher because I want to be very generous here. I'm going to be extremely generous and say a 7, an extremely generous 7 out of 10. That is just for me, okay? I hope I'm not offending anyone about it. It's just, those are my issues with it. That's just how I personally felt. I didn't think it was, after second time watching it, for me, these things became more apparent. So I apologize if I angered anyone. It's not my intention. I want to be honest here, and that's it, okay? So thanks so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you. And how do I turn this off? Shit.